In the Gospel of Luke, there is a story about one time when Jesus was teaching in a synagogue on the Sabbath. And while he was teaching, a woman came into the synagogue, and it was a woman who had been crippled by a spirit for 18 years. And the story says that she was bent over and was quite unable to stand straight. Jesus sees her, calls her over, lays his hands on her back, and she stood up straight and began to praise God. Now, this story has long struck me with a lot of force. A number of years ago, someone was talking about this story, and they said that every person we see is bent over in some way. Every person we see is bent over in some way. Some of us are bent over in ways that are visible. Many of us are bent over in ways that are not visible, but are no less real. Some of us are bent over because of a great loss that we have suffered and that we are grieving. Others of us are bent over because we are struggling with an addiction of some kind. Still others of us are bent over under the pressures of insecurity or anxiety or shame. All of these and others can leave people bent out of shape in some way. Now, a lot of us have learned a whole variety of ways to cover up and conceal the ways in which we are bent over. We put on masks of one kind or another. We talk a big game. We say we're doing fine or whatever. And we do not need to put all of our problems out there for the entire world to see. But the masks that we put on in order to get through our days do not make the problems that we are having go away. The masks do not make our problems disappear. And sometimes it's the case that the person whom we are trying the hardest to convince that we are doing fine is ourselves. Wise people have said for a long time to be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a hard battle. Everyone you encounter is fighting a hard battle of one kind or another. Everyone you meet is bent over in some way. Now, knowing this does not make our differences that we have with each other go away, and it does not mean that we must never disagree with each other. But what it means is that we usually have no idea of the kinds of loads that other people are walking around with all the time. And it may very well be that people who are really hard on others are themselves bent over by really heavy burdens, because it is usually the case that we are hardest on others when we are being really hard on ourselves. So part of our spiritual practice, part of our discipleship, can be to develop an appreciation for the burdens, for the invisible burdens that other people may be carrying. And we can do this because we know that we ourselves are walking around carrying a whole variety of invisible burdens. And this awareness can help to deepen our connections with each other. Friends, be safe, be well, and let us be kind to each other. We'll see you soon.